Hello, it's Weekend Handicapper from weekendhandicapper.com. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips for betting the Breeders' Cup races. Not just the Breeders' Cup Classic, but pretty much any race on Breeders' Cup Day or on the 2 days that they race Breeders' Cup races. Before we get started though, if you want to learn how to bet on horses and how to make money betting on horses, I appreciate it if you subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you can get all the latest tips, tools, and resources to help you win money from thoroughbred horse racing. All right, so let's get going. 5 tips. Now, this isn't tips in terms of what horses to bet, what tips, like I got a good tip on a horse, so bet this long shot. None of that. This is in general. Over the years of me playing the Breeders' Cup and seeing other people being successful every now and then at the Breeders' Cup, on Breeders' Cup Day, I think these tips will put you in really good shape and give you an excellent chance to win and make money on Breeders' Cup races. All right, so the first one is do your prep work. Do your prep work plenty of days, if not weeks, in advance. The Breeders' Cup races are very popular races. We're very fortunate that we can go back and look at the replays to these big races that these horses have been racing in. We don't have to wait necessarily until the past performances come out to get a sense of the horse's career, what races it's been in, how well has it raced. Of course, we want to make our final decisions after getting the post positions and the past performances, but it doesn't mean we can't start handicapping the Breeders' Cup races until the past performances come out. So you can get on the Breeders' Cup website. You can just get on your online wagering account if you have one of those, or even on YouTube, and you can see these prep races that these horses, big name horses, have been running in over this year and previous years, because we have older horses in Breeders' Cup races. That's part of the allure. We don't get it too much because a lot of these horses end up going to the breeding shed and getting retired early. So we don't get to see them race too much, but there's plenty of horses that still race every year. And so we have a documented history of watching the videos where you can see these horses in their previous races leading up to the Breeders' Cup, or even in years past in some cases. So do your prep work days in advance, and preferably weeks in advance if you can get a hold of the replays. Because there are so many races that involve Breeders' Cup, so many difficult races, and so many horses that are in those races, it's going to fatigue you, it's going to maybe even stress you out or overload you if you try to do it all the day of, the day before, a couple days before the Breeders' Cup occurs. So the first tip is do your prep work in advance, watch those replays, try to find past performances of races that the horse has been in that lead up to the Breeders' Cup. You pretty much got the running lines and the past performances of the races before they even released the official Breeders' Cup past performances. So there's a little tip for you. All right, so the second tip is any horse could win. Do not throw out any horse in the Breeders' Cup. What I mean is the Breeders' Cup is so competitive. You have the best of the best. Sure, you could try to toss out horses. Absolutely, you got to when you're handicapping. But these are top-of-the-line horses that earn their way into these races. So, and it's inevitable every year. I remember one year I had like a pick 4 I missed out on a pick 4 on Breeders' Cup Day. I was 8 deep in a race and got knocked out in that race because a horse that I would have never came up with won the race. And you see it all the time. So just because a horse is from Japan, maybe from Europe shipping in, or it doesn't look as good on paper as these other more well-known horses, you can't discredit any horse in a Breeders' Cup race. That's why every year it seems like we have these big prices that just blow up the tote board because one horse or this certain horse in this race just messes everything up for the majority of us, except those lucky few that had those long shots at those long odds. So be careful throwing out any horse or too many horses, because any horse has an opportunity to win a Breeders' Cup race. It happens every year. You just got to be right and get lucky to try to find those horses that other people might not have. It's a general handicapping rule, I know, but even more so in Breeders' Cup races. Because again, pretty much all horses that are entered in Breeders' Cup races earn their spot. They paid their dues to get in the starting gate to race in these big time races, so they're quality horses. Which brings me to tip number 3. Now, some of you might disagree with this. If you do, I would please leave a comment below, and I kind of understand why, but here's what I think. The fact that all these horses are that good, that have stellar racing careers for the most part, have had quality wins for the most part, I don't think you should put as much emphasis on class in the Breeders' Cup as you do other types of races in handicapping. Some of you might be out there saying, oh, that's blasphemy. Weekend handicapper, what's going on, man? Well, you lost it. But here's what I mean. I think every horse that's in a Breeders' Cup race has plenty of class. So I don't think you're going to have that much difference in gaps in class levels in the Breeders' Cup races. I could be wrong. Again, if you disagree, please let me know in the comments below. But I don't think that's some of the best things that you could be looking for to separate contenders in Breeders' Cup races. I think all horses in Breeders' Cup races have plenty of class. They have, for the most part, really good bloodlines. Their pedigree's really good. So that maybe is not your best spot to look at when it comes to, or best angle, best handicapping factor when it comes to handicapping Breeders' Cup races. What I think is a deciding factor a lot of times, from my personal experience and through handicapping and losing a bunch of races on Breeders' Cup Day, as well as winning some, is pace. Your horse or horses has to get a good trip. So I think you, instead of spending too much time on class, that angle, that handicapping angle and factor, spend more time on the pace scenario and how these Breeders' Cup races are going to be ran. Is it going to be a fast pace? Do you got a lot of early speed horses? Do you have, which sets up for a closer? Do you have not much pace? And you think a long shot or a horse or two that you like could steal the race on the front end. The fact that I personally believe that most, if not all, horses entered in Breeders' Cup races have plenty of class. The deciding factor is going to come for them from those horses getting a good trip and how the race is going to be run, the race shape. So spend more time on trying to visualize and predict how the race is going to be run, the race shape. Again, who's getting out to the front, who's going to sit right off the pace, who might close in. Really study the running styles of the horses that are entered in Breeders' Cup and see how that mix factors in to how the race is going to be played out. Along the same lines, you could throw in there track bias. If there's any track bias going on, you might want to factor that in. The post positions going on, how all that factors in. The pace, the running of the race. Doesn't mean the race is going to be ran to what we think or we predict, but I think that puts you ahead of the competition, maybe more so than focusing on class as it pertains in the Breeders' Cup races. I'm not hating on class. I use it all the time. It's certainly a fundamental of good handicapping, but I think pace scenario, how the race is going to be run, and the race shape might give you a better edge and help you find those prices. Because I remember I had Golden Cove, I think it was 2010. I had that horse singled. I thought for sure if anybody was going to win on Breeders' Cup Day that day, and it was the year of Zenyatta. Zenyatta got beat too that year. 2010, I believe it was, when she got beat by Blaine. But I was single to go to Cova and on the turf, and got a bad trip, got blocked in on the inside, and it lost my plenty of tickets that I was single to. I would have cashed pretty good on that day and came out a winner on that day. I still did okay, but not like I would have if that horse would have came through. That was a really good horse, but had a bad trip. The running didn't go like it should have in that particular race. So another good tip for you, analyze the pace. Spend a lot of time on how these races are going to be run, what horses are going out to the front, mid-pack, setting off the pace, and closing in. I think that's going to prove big dividends to you. Of course, we got to get lucky. Those races need to run to form like we're thinking. But I think that will put you in good shape. And tip number 5, have a game plan. This kind of goes along with tip number 1, doing your prep work. Please don't get caught up. Don't show up on Breeders' Cup Day, on these big race days, and you're not sure if you're going to play a pick 3, a double, if you're getting involved with the pick 5 or Exactas. Have a game plan. Do the prep work. Know what races you like. If you like several races in a row, put a pick 3, pick 4 together. Pick 5 together if you like that many races in a row. And do not be afraid to take some shots on Breeders' Cup Day. But have a game plan. Know the day before at least, or the morning of, before you start betting, what kind of tickets you're going to put together and what horses you like, of course, and how you're going to link those horses up that you like into specific wagers. Don't get caught up in the hype and the atmosphere, because I'm telling you from personal experience, and every Breeders' Cup that I can remember betting since the late 90s, you get caught up. I mean, oh my gosh, look at the odds on that horse. Wow, that Exacta's paying that much. I got to play that one too. So you're going to get caught up in the moment. I'm telling you, because there's going to be so many attractive payouts and probable payouts and so many enticing horses that are going off at good odds that you think have a shot. That could be detrimental to your bankroll. And you're going to end up betting wagers that you probably wouldn't otherwise bet until you got in the moment. So if you have a game plan, have certain wagers, certain tickets planned out before you emotionally get involved in the moment and you start getting, the adrenaline starts kicking in and stuff. Days before you saw any odds, you like these certain horses and these certain tickets, stick to your guns and be sure to play those tickets. Along those same lines, do not, again, from personal experience, do not forget to make wagers. Okay, I remember flipping through past performances one year, and I remember a day or two before I had certain doubles that linked up these nice long shots, and I forgot all about it the day of the Breeders' Cup. And so, in hindsight, if I would have looked at my past performances that I marked down, that I liked these doubles, that would have paid pretty good. But I forgot to do it because I got distracted, caught up in the moment of Breeders' Cup Day. So recap, here's some 5 tips for you when betting Breeders' Cup races. 1, do your prep work days, if not weeks in advance. Watch the replays. Try to get a hold of past performances of these horses. You should be able to find them online, or if you bet those big-time races before, it should be easily accessible. So do your prep work. Number 2, any horse can win in a Breeders' Cup race. It usually happens every single year, blowing up the tote board, so don't discredit horses. Be careful, think twice about throwing out horses. Of course, we got to whittle it down some way, but really give enough thought and attention to pretty much every horse, no matter if they're coming from Japan, Europe, racing at Lone Star Park, doesn't matter. Give serious thought to each and every contender. Class, in my opinion, watch spending too much time on class, because all these horses are classy. All these horses have really good pedigrees in these Breeders' Cup races. So I don't know if that's the best deciding factor when it comes to handicapping Breeders' Cup races. Pace, be sure to look at the pace, the race shape. I think that is where you can find an edge and find some really good long shots based on how the pace is going to be ran in Breeders' Cup races. And last but not least, number 5, have a game plan. Know what horses you like, what prices you like, and know what tickets that you are going to link those horses up and what wagers you're going to make long before the first post of these big time could be lucrative Breeders' Cup races. All right, so try those 5 tips out every year that you play Breeders' Cup. I think that will help you out and give you a great shot to win quite a bit of money, or at least come out ahead on Breeders' Cup Day. This is the Weekend Handicapper. Check out weekendhandicapper.com. Again, if you would like all the latest videos and tips, tools, and resources, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can get all the latest tips, tools, and resources to help you win money on thoroughbred horse racing. Go ahead, if you got any tips, leave them in the comments below. If you have any memories of Breeders' Cup, leave them in the comments below. And until next time, this is Weekend Handicapper. Happy handicapping, smart wagering.